Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Gourmet Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Jacob in Wisconsin. We'll have Tim joining us from Green Bay here shortly. I think Emilio may also be on. We'll see how that goes. I mean, you know how that is, Jacob. He says he's going to be here, but, you never know when the Mexican restaurant's going to get raided again. You know what I'm saying? So.
See, I do know what you mean, Clayton. How was your day? I tell you what, it was perfect here in Wisconsin. Absolutely perfect.
Yeah, we were sitting about 72 with 20-mile-an-hour gusts. It was just a lovely day. Next week, though, 88. Whew, it's going to be in the 80s all week, so it's pool weather, baby, and ready to get out there and look like a beach swell on the pool deck. You know what I'm saying? I'm excited about it. So, anything you want to hit before we dive into I've got a full slate of stuff to talk about. We're going to be doing our LVN giveaway at the end of the show as well. Autographed rookie card from LVN from one of our lucky Patreon members. Anything you want to hit on before we dive into some of the content I've got lined up here, man?
Just breaking news. I'm sure too old.
Hold up. Don't say it yet.
Yeah. I'm sure you guys were all worried about this, but I think his name was Brad Narveson. Remember the guy that we had kicking field goals for a hot minute there? He happened to be from right down the road from me, Hudson, Wisconsin. He has officially left the NFL, and he signed a new contract with a different league. What league? I don't know, and I don't care, but more luck to you, Brad. Wish it would have worked out.
I think it was – what was Narveson's name, Tim? Wasn't it Braden?
The Narv dog?
What was –
the Narv?
Oh, yeah, Braden Narveson, not Brad.
Braden. I think it's Braden, yeah.
Narva not gonna kick here no more.
Braden said, y'all can't even get my name right. I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Such a good drop.
It is. It's solid. All right, let's get into it. I want to talk a little Matthew Golden. This is going to be a real quick seg here. I really think this is awesome. I found a video where someone had filmed the drafting of Matthew Golden from the crowd at Lambeau Field. Really, really cool shot. And I want to give a shout out to, God, I can't remember who it was now. It was on Twitter. It's been shared around several times, so I don't even know who the original author is. If you guys know who it is, shout them out in the chat. We'll make sure we give them credit. But I wanted to talk about why he chose the number 22. This is pretty cool stuff. But first, let's check out from the crowd here in the Lambeau Field parking lot. Oh, let's hit this first. King Tron with the super chat. Y'all miss me? Hope everyone is golden, number 22. Appreciate you, Tron. Good to see you in the house, buddy. Thank you for the super chat, man. You are awesome. So this is a really cool shot, like I said, from the crowd. All right. I love how everybody puts it together. Tim, when he says for the first time since 2002, you literally hear people go across the crowd, receiver.
They already knew what time it was.
It is awesome. Check it out.
With the 23rd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the 13-time world champion Green Bay Packers, for the first time since 2002. Matthew Golden.
How awesome is that, man? Oh, it's so electric. It's just such a good draft, man. And I'm sure it was just as enjoyable watching it from home as it was right there, at ground zero. But Tim, that night when they announced Matthew Golden, bro, it was special, wasn't it? I know we wasn't at the draft at that exact moment, but it's pretty cool getting to experience history like that.
Yeah, I was kind of dumbfounded a little bit. I was just in shock. I remember being at our draft party, and yeah, man, what a wonderful way to get the draft started. And yeah, you could see the dramatic pause for effect that Mark Murphy had in his delivery there. I thought that was a total pro right there at delivering Packer fans some news that they really wanted to hear. So yeah, what a great moment, man.
Yeah, Jacob, I don't know if you've seen this or not, but there's been several fans that don't like the fact that he's wearing 22. That looks weird. I can't get used to it. Blah, 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 blah.
We got linebackers wearing single digits now. Relax.
A bunch of boomers. Bunch of boomers. So I didn't realize all the level of detail he went to in terms of choosing a number 22, which is really cool. And first of all, I want to just point out, look at the ink on his legs there. You see it on his legs, says fear God. One leg says fear, the other says God. Love it. Absolutely love it. So here is why he chose. And this is what he said on a video over at Packers.com. He said, it's why did he choose number 22? He said 2 was his late great-grandmother's favorite number, right? And that's why he wore it at Texas. So obviously that was his college number. The last time the Packers took a receiver in the first round was 2002. And he said 22 teams passed up on him in the draft. He said he chose the number to keep himself motivated. I don't know how you guys feel about Matthew Golden. Maybe he wasn't like the top guy on the Packers draft board in terms of maybe there was someone in that same tier that had a little bit higher grade. But Jacob, it sounds to me like the reason the Packers chose this guy over some of the others is you hear about his humble upbringing. You hear about his work ethic in college. You hear his teammates just rave over him. You see his ability to create separation at the college level. You see the contested catches, even though he's not a huge receiver. But it just seems like he's got the right attitude to be a Packer. Man, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm personally a super big fan of the 22. I think I saw, 12 for this said the same thing. To me, that's what I do on Madden, man. I go in there and I give everybody a crazy, funky number. You know what I mean? I got offensive linemen with double zeros. I don't care. No, but honestly, the 22 is cool. It is unique, but I think it will kind of, it highlights him in a way that's different where it's like, I want to remember that, not in a bad way. You know what I mean? I don't want us the next time we see a wide receiver strain, I'll be like, oh, here we go again. Right. What happened with Golden. I really do think, though, that this season people need to really put just maybe tamp down a little bit the expectations because this wide receiver room is so deep and they're so talented. And for him, I mean, hopefully he does. If he does, it means that he is that good because he's got maybe 5 or 6 guys that have legitimate NFL experience that have shown that they can do it, know what it takes. And for him to just step in and go to the top of that heap, I don't really know. Like I said, I hope I'm wrong. I hope he does it. I don't expect all that right away. I think that it's going to be a 2 or 3 year process until we see the gold of Michael Golden.
It's funny too, Jacob, because like as you're saying that, I'm usually that guy going, hey, it's a rookie, tamp the expectations. I'm kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum with this one. And the reason being is you've got Christian Watson, obviously, is going to be missing significant time. So that spot is open for someone with speed to take the top off of defenses and let Reed and Dobbs and Wicks and those guys work underneath Tucker Kraft underneath. We'll talk about him in a minute. And I don't know, when I look at Golden and I hear what Jordan said at OTAs, and I know people were going to think, yeah, they're always talking up their guys or talking up their guys. But the way he said and what he said really stood out to me of all the interviews. When they asked him about it, he said, yeah, he looks really polished. That's not a line that you recite, Tim. That's not like okay, guys, we're going to go out there, and if we're talking about teammates, you go out and say they're polished. To me, Jordan, I think, was probably a little impressed at OTAs. Like, damn, this kid, pretty crisp route runner, got good hands. Like, he seems like he's ready to go, right?
Yeah, so, I think and Jordan's not a BSer type of guy, right? I mean, he seems like a very genuine type of dude when he's speaking. So, yeah, I think that was probably just from the heart and a genuine reaction for sure. Yeah. I mean, he gave us gems like this, right?
I don't listen too much Taylor Swift.
Doesn't get more straightforward than that.
I mean, it don't get any more straightforward than that, right?
Yeah. So, again, maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid here, and Jacob is the more accurate, person in assessment. But I don't know. I got a feeling Golden's going to come out and just be like, all right, dang. Kind of like Jaden Reed his rookie year. I know Jaden Reed played in the slot, and there's a lot more touches there. I think that's the other thing that kind of takes me a little in that direction is the fact that defenses started to hammer down on Jaden Reed in the slot last year. And now if they're going to continue to do that, you need someone who could take the top off out of that 2 and a dagger and also work that dig, which, by the way, Golden does that really well. Like I don't want to say most of his film, there's a good chunk of his film at Texas where he's running that 10 to 15-yard dig route. That's a crucial aspect to dagger. And if you're going to have, a trip set and you put Jaden Reed in the 3 like we seen on tape last night, showing some of those 5 incompletions that we kind of broke down. If you've got him in the 3 running that crosser and you're running dagger out of it, maybe you got Dobbs running the seam route and you let Golden run the dig, and then you switch it up and let Golden jump into the 2 and run that seam route or that non-fade. So I don't know, man. I'm excited. I think reasonable expectations for Matthew Golden. I would probably put somewhere between 600 to 1,000 yards, kind of the 1,000 being the ceiling. And anything over 600, I'm going to go good rookie season, seeing that the majority of the manufacturing in Matt LaFleur's offense is kind of coming from the slot and working to the tight end in passing plays. I don't know if that makes sense, but
when you mentioned it just triggered this in my head. You had in 2022, we had Christian Watson and Romeo Dobbs. That was 2 receivers in the draft class, correct?
Correct.
Then we got Jaden Reed and Tay Wicks.
Mm-hmm.
And now we get Matthew Golden and Savion Williams. I'm starting to see a trend here. Right. You've got these high-level, high-talent guys that are unheralded, unproven, and they pick each other up and they make our receiving core that much better. I mean, I think over time, as the team develops and gets older and we don't have to keep talking about the youth factor and all of this stuff, we could have 3, 4, 5 Pro Bowlers on the all pros on this offense for sure, especially in the wide receiver room.
Yeah. And again, I know there's some people that are probably going, oh, man, y'all got too high expectations. That's okay. You can fan that way too. I'm just going off of what we've seen in the offense last year. And again, what did we do last year? We pressed into the run heavy, right? We ran the ball, I think, 51 or 52% of the time, which is the most we had ran it since Amon Green was the running back, I think all the way back to either 2002 or 2003. So, again, like we talked about, Hafley's defense may take a slight step back because teams have a lot of film on him now. These defenses are going to go into this season looking at the Packers offense going, all right, we got to stop the run. We got to stop the run. And if Jordan Love is completely healthy, which I think we all believe he is, you're going to be under center more, running more boot action, and that's going to open up the pass. I don't know, man. I got a good feeling about the pass. I think the running game will take a slight step back, and the passing game will take a pretty good step forward, seeing that if Jordan stays healthy. Like I said, he missed pretty much the majority of 3 games last year, essentially, is what happened. So, yeah, I'm excited about it. Go ahead, Jake.
Yeah, actually, I mean, I was trying to figure out a way to make this into a segment, but honestly, it's good just to get the information out there. So as much as I was just kind of saying pump the brakes with Golden and what we should maybe expect production-wise, I found it very interesting. I was looking through a bunch of fantasy football stuff. I already got the bug, already doing some best ball drafts. And in underdog.com, they already have season over-unders that you can get in. So right now, Matthew Golden, they're given basically setting his par at 749.5 receiving yards and over-under, with a 4.5 over-under on receiving touchdowns. And they're usually pretty spot on with their projections. I mean, that's what makes it so tough. Everybody thinks, man, it's really easy. I can pick. It's really not. It's crazy how good.
You don't believe
to your point,
bank account.
Exactly. To your point about them kind of easing off Jacobs a little bit more, they have him estimated at 199.5 rushing yards, with only 0.5 receiving touchdowns. If you're looking to place a little action anywhere, I thought that was a steal. And then 10.5 rushing touchdowns.
Gotcha.
And they actually ranked Jordan Love's projections up to 35.99.5 with the over-under at 24.5 touchdowns with a half a point or a half of a playoff game started over-under. Really interesting stuff there. So if
that is
underdog, maybe to me that half a touchdown receiving for Jacobs is take the over, bro. They're not letting him do that anymore.
I'm taking the over on all those J Love props too.
Yeah. Where did they have the touchdowns at, Jacob? Did you see the touchdowns for Jordan or no?
24.5.
24. Oh my
over.
God. Over. Hammer that thing. Hammer it down. Got to hammer that down. Ed Madden in the chat says dig routes and out routes. Golden excels out at should open things up for Reed. And you guys remember the Wolf concept that we ran a lot last year as well. I think Golden can run a corner route just as well as he can an out route too. I mean, he's a pretty polished route runner. He really is. Now, am I saying he's going to go out there and just torch man coverage? I have no reason to believe that as a rookie. It's going to take some time to get used to the speed of the game and creating separation at the NFL level. But I swear, I think he's going to have a good year, man. And the fact that you said that over under set in the 700s, Jacob, that makes me feel real good about that 600 to 1,000. That's good stuff, man. Appreciate you providing those numbers. Another point here, Johnny B in the chat says Golden also going to benefit from finally having a good quarterback throwing to him. Man, Quinn Ewers was so highly touted. I want to say he was considered the best quarterback in his class. His sophomore year in high school, they had already said he's going to be the best senior coming out of high school. They just marked him at that. And again, I don't look at these college players or specifically Quinn Ewers and say, here's how I see him. I listen to the people that I trust the most. And Greg Cosell said, I've never liked his tape. And the fact that Golden gets drafted in the first round with Quinn Ewers, who had an arm injury as well, if I remember correctly, it was an arm. It might have been an oblique, but I think it was an arm injury where he didn't have that zip on the ball. That's why you see Matthew Golden having to pull up on so many deep shot throws to slow down and adjust to the ball and make the catch. I think it's a great point, Johnny B. He has never played with a quarterback with Jordan Love's arm talent. There's no two ways about that. So you're probably going to see the best version of him. He doesn't strike me as the type of receiver, too, that would not benefit from having a little more zip on the ball. He's got strong hands. He attacks the football. He plucks it out of the air. I think he's going to be just fine with Jordan. It's going to be exciting stuff. So
compressed, compact route runner, too. No wasted motion. We were talking about that the other day. Mm-hmm. And, can you imagine getting him in a little bit of space and hitting him in stride and just letting him turn on the juice? It's going to be fun.
It is. It's gonna be a blast, man. All right, moving on to the next topic here. Let's talk a little Tucker Kraft. We're not going to go too in depth, but I woke up. I think it was this morning. It might have been yesterday, and was immediately had something on my mind. I'm going to share it with you guys here.
Was it money?
It was not money.
My mind on my money and my money on my mind.
All right. It was not. But as I put in this tweet, what are you thinking about? Me. This is what I'm thinking about right here. This throw right here never gets old, man. Look at this. Hold the left safety and just let that thing rip. I mean, you're not going to find a better throw than that. Look at this.
In the words of Emilio, this is called humming that tater.
That's right. Humming that tater, shooting that peel, whatever you want to call it. Here's the thing about it, too. The reason I wanted to point this out with Tucker Kraft, he made his hay last year with yak yardage, Jacob. We seen him running people over, right? Making the first guy miss just about every single time he got the ball underneath. He also had a lot of separation yards, and it wasn't that Tucker was running these fancy routes. Matt LaFleur was scheming him open, but still giving him 5, 6, 7 yards of separation, catch the ball full steam ahead, throw a stiff arm on a DB, run one over, hurdle one, whatever you need to do. He's kind of become known as this yak type player, right? Exactly. Forklift certified, as he put in that one tweet. So when you see a play like this, immediately people think, okay, yeah, he can play underneath, he can play open, play yak. There's not many tight ends in the league that can make that catch right there. With a hand in his face, Jacob, full extension. Notice how he had the awareness to turn his body so that he puts his body between the ball and the ground.
It almost looks like the DB gets a finger on it at the end, and it doesn't matter.
I was going to say that.
It's thrown so hard, right here.
You can see that the trajectory, right?
Just a little bit. Probably got a second-degree burn on his index finger, touching that one. That's amazing, man. That was a dart.
And Holmes MD1 points this out too. That was the fastest ball thrown last season according to AWS. I'm going to go one step further, Holmes. The last I heard, it was the fastest ball ever thrown at the NFL level since the Next Gen Stats era. So there's probably been more thrown harder than that. Something. Yeah, it was something, like around 2014, 2015, something like that. And again, I'm not saying it's the fastest thrown in the history of the game, but it's the fastest recorded thrown. I think it was in the 60s, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, high 60s.
Yeah, which is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, 2-0 for this confirmed. You're correct. Yeah, so Jacob, what do you think about Tucker here? I got another angle we're going to hit on here in a second, but anything else you want to add to this?
No, I mean, it reiterates what I've thought about Tucker Kraft and just how a lot of people, like you said, the yak, the separation, all that. But what I think goes underrated, like you said, is when the ball gets there, he doesn't make body catches. He's usually laying out. He jumps over people. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I remember Kraft just doing the old gazelle leap where you're like, oh, okay. he's actually got some hops, or when he throws his shoulder in, like he said, he'd look at Bates coming in with the clutch, 61.98 miles per hour. Is that fast?
Well, not high 60s, but that's
high
fast.
score. What does that mean? That's pretty fast for a football.
That's moving.
Watch his feet here, guys. Watch the left foot when he delivers it. See the little turn and pivot.
Torque.
Now, we've heard a lot of complaints about him throwing off that back foot and dealing, with the injuries he's dealt with, having to kind of have 1.5 legs under you. This is what it looks like when he's got, 2 healthy legs underneath him and he's stepping into a throw. I mean, this is just a thing of beauty.
Tim, I'll even say he didn't get to fully get into that throw because the look at the lineman kind of impedes that follow through. But even with that, all he needs is just that good zip windup, and he can just usually hum that tater, to quote Emilio.
Yep. This is the other aspect to it too, and you can't see it on this video. On the next video, you'll be able to see it. Jordan actually changes the play at the line of scrimmage. So he comes to the line, looks it over, and I think what he sees is split safety, because as soon as he goes to his wrist and calls it, he's basically changing the play, right? I don't think he changed anything on the left. I think he changed everything to the right. Told Tucker to hit the seam. I think he threw an out with maybe a curl on the other 2 targets over there. But nonetheless, he changes the play, and you immediately see this safety right here come down in the box. So he's trying to sugar Jordan. What Jordan's seen was a cover 2 defense, right, where you got 2 safeties deep. This one deep, this one deep. And when he changed the play, when he went to that audible, that hot route, whatever you want to call it, that safety was like, okay, I got to sell something here. So he creeps down into the box, right? And you'll see it on this other angle. And then what Jordan does, if you'll notice, look at the stripe on Jordan's helmet. Yep. He's holding this safety at home right here, because he knows where he's going with his football. He's going right down the seam. So that right there puts that safety on his heels. And he almost looks him off too soon, because you'll see when Jordan comes back, now watch the safety. Safety's reading his eyes. See how the safety starts over?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But the safety thinks I just baited his ass. The problem the safety's got, and he don't realize, that's 61 mile an hour right there. That's a heater.
God, that's crazy.
Pretty cool. So you've seen it in super slow motion, right, from the box cam. Let's go inside Lambeau. You want to? And I want to give a shout out here to Kyle Tate on X, at Kyle Tate 842-45657. Hopefully that's not your social. Nobody go check that, all right? But this is absolutely awesome. This is from the stands. It should pop here in a minute, but listen to the crowd. Notice how quiet the crowd is because they're close to the end zone. I'm so proud of Packer fans. And when it does pop, look at the stadium, just how freaking beautiful. You'll notice Jordan right off the bat here. I think you'll see when the video starts, he's changing the play. But listen to this sound here. Right here's where he changed it. See him go to the wrist. Just a little subtle hand gesture.
Touchdown, baby! Touchdown!
That's so cool for that angle, man. That's so
it's
cool.
Absolutely awesome. Yeah, I love it, man. And again, watch Jordan. See, he sees that safety right now. As soon as this is a great angle right here. When Jordan changes the play, look at this safety over here, how far off he is. See how they're split safety? So he sees that, and he's like, all right, we're going to attack the seam here. And then as soon as he goes to make the change, watch the safety try to sugar him. Now the safety's creeping down a little bit. This guy's mugging a little bit. You'll see now the safety drops. He knows he's got the seam. Bang.
Wow.
Just gorgeous. What a gorgeous throw. I forgot about the celebration, too. Since Tucker was already on the ground, everybody joined him on the ground there. So, it's awesome. How about that stadium shot there, too, man?
That's awesome.
Absolutely gorgeous. So, again, why are we showing this? I don't know. It's May 31st, and I can't get enough more, I'll be honest with you. That's why. So, really, really excited to see what Tucker Kraft can do this year. And, again, we just talked about everything that's going to come into play when we, with Matthew Golden being added, taking the top off, and how that's going to affect Jaden Reed. Now, he's going to have to prove he's attacking defenses before defenses pull off of Jaden Reed. But you mix in a little Tucker Kraft as well. I think his offenses, they're going to be better this year. They are going to be better this year. There's no doubt in my mind. The question is, how well are we going to protect the football, and how can everybody get better across the board? How can Jordan be better? How can he be more accurate? How can he get the checkdowns quicker? And how can he protect that turnover differential? Matt LaFleur, which is another thing we're going to talk about. Matter of fact, we'll go ahead and hit it right now. Matt LaFleur needs to get a little bit better too. And I think Matt LaFleur is a top 5 coach, possibly a top 3 coach right now in the league. But he's got to get better as well. And one of the things that I criticized him on, we're going for it on 4th down. I want to get your all's take before we dive into the numbers, all right? And then we're going to do a little chalk talk here with the 4th down plays. But I want to get your all's take real quick before we dive in. How do you feel about Matt LaFleur and going forward on 4th down last year? Did you feel like he was too aggressive? Did you feel like he wasn't aggressive enough? Did you feel like the play calling was off? I don't care who goes first. What's the first thing that comes to mind? Because that's typically how you really feel before you try to craft a thought, right?
Tim, how about these 3 things? Going forward on 4th down, passing on 1st down, and the end around. That to me epitomizes what my criticisms of Matt LaFleur. I'll let you go.
I think they're all fair. I think I'm somewhere, maybe it's the Libra in me, but I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm not gonna sit here and overly defend Matt, and then I'm not gonna throw him under the bus. I've got a few things that I don't like, particularly situationally sometimes. I'll tell you this, when it comes to the going for it on 4th down aspect, especially in your own territory or middle of the field maybe, and it's 4th and 1, 4th and 2, 4th and 3 scenario. I'm a big fan of going for it when you and your personnel on the field already know what the hell we're running the minute the 3rd down is over with and they're spotting that football. Get up to the line, call a play, and I feel like you have more chance for success if you're more sure of yourself and what you're doing. In other words, if you don't pick it up on 3rd and everybody on the field knows we're going on 4th, you get a chance to maybe catch that defense trying to sub or maybe sleeping a little bit, maybe a little lazy getting back in a position, and you can pick up a 1st down. Generally speaking, I don't like it, especially out of a timeout. You get up to the line and then you screw the pooch, you got to burn a timeout, and then you come out and try again. That can be tragic sometimes. So I give Matt like a C+ with that. I don't think he's terrible at it. Challenge flags, that might be a different conversation when it comes to my gripes.
Good point.
But yeah, that's kind of just my general thoughts on going for it on 4th. It's a love-hate relationship, right? Sometimes you love it when when it
works, you love it.
Yeah, you're a genius. When you when you don't pick it up, you potentially screw up the rest of the game for yourself a lot of times. So it's tough, man. You're playing with fire either way. Sometimes settling for 3 is playing with fire. I'm a big proponent of put the points on the board. But there have been times that has been proven that if you maybe sneak in and try and convert, put 7 on the board, you walk away with a win as opposed to maybe losing the game by 3 or 4 points or something.
Jacob, how do you feel about it? How do you feel about Matt, 4th down, before we dive into the numbers here?
I mean, like I said, that's my biggest gripe with him. And and that's not to say I don't think Matt's a great coach. I would take Matt over most coaches in the NFL. It's just that, like Tim said, I think it's good in certain situations. There's been times where I'm kind of scratching my head, but I don't think there's a better offensive schemer in the league. It's just that sometimes the procedural stuff and some of the I don't know. I don't like as much of the gadgety stuff we do sometimes when it just seems like we're too cute. But like you said, again, when those stuff works, I'm like, oh, okay, we're doing the oop-de-oop. I don't care. Whatever
the gadget stuff with the short yardage is what gets me.
Yes,
Clayton
exactly.
Says, hey, it's 3rd and 1. Why the hell are we running laterally 8 yards when we need, 1.5 yards to move the sticks? So I'm with you.
So let me ask you guys this question: if you had to guess how many times we went for it on 4th down last year, how many times do you think that was?
10.
I love 10.
I'd say less than 10. I'm taking the under on that. I'll say 8.
If my numbers are correctly, we went for it on 4th down 18 times last year.
Holy cow.
So
I stand corrected. C- for Matt LaFleur now.
I want to be completely transparent here. The reason I like doing these exercises is because I remember how I felt last year. And I'm telling you, most of the time when I go back and the emotions are gone and I actually look at the facts which don't give a damn about your feelings, I'm usually wrong. In this case, I was going, dang, we went for it 18 times. Lord have mercy. We were way too aggressive, right? So we're not going to have time to break down all 18, right? But the tape that I pulled, I wanted to look at where did we struggle, okay? And here are the numbers. Let's break down the numbers, all right? So, first of all, we finished 23rd in the NFL with a 50% conversion rate on fourth down. Okay. So, not that good, right? You want to be in that top 10. Obviously, Washington, Buffalo, Philadelphia were all in the 70 percentile. Detroit, Atlanta, Kansas City, LA Rams, Tampa Bay, Denver, Houston, and Indianapolis, along with Chicago, were in the 60 percentile. We finished right at 50%. Okay, now let's break down how we went for it on fourth down, all right? So passing the ball on fourth down, we went for it 8 times, or 8 of the 18 times we actually threw the ball on fourth down, all right? We converted 4 of those 8 attempts. Leading, when they had a lead, they converted all 3 attempts passing the football, okay? Trailing, they only converted 1 of 6 passing the football. Now, running the ball, we went for it on fourth down with a running play 10 times, right? We converted on 5 of those. Leading, they converted on 3 of 5. So you're seeing a trend here. We were pretty successful when we went for it on fourth down while we had the lead. But when we were trailing, they only converted 1 of 3 running attempts there. You see what I'm saying? So what I did was, since we don't have time to break down all the tape, I said, let's focus on what we were the worst at. I'm not here to run a victory lap, right? Let's try to learn from it. Go, okay, why did we struggle going for it on fourth down while we were trailing? And do we justify going for it on fourth down while we were trailing in those situations? But final thoughts on the article, then we'll get into the chalk talk. Matt LaFleur finished 23rd in the NFL going for it on fourth down with only a 50% success rate. Green Bay had significant success going for it on fourth down while leading their opponents, but struggled to convert on fourth downs while trailing. 4 of those 9 attempts, Matt LaFleur did not need to go for it, having had plenty of time in close games to win over invisible yardage rather than trying to move the stick. So I want to point that out. 4 of those 9 attempts, okay, Matt LaFleur did not need to go for it. All right. I just want to point that out. So that tells me he was too aggressive.
Yeah. And
what I'd like to see is him temper that down. When you're losing the football game, you can't let the emotions take over. Crap, we got to get something going. No. There's time. There's time to win this ball game. Let's pick up that invisible yardage, punt it away, put the pressure back on them, and try to win the ball game that way. So at the top of the page, you can find all of the attempts while they were trailing. What I'm going to do, though, is close that out, and let's go straight to our telestrator, John Madden style here.
Can I ask a quick question before you jump into this?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Do you think, because that's kind of shocking it's not shocking, it's logical when you think about it, but does that shine a light that when the Packers are down, and I remember watching this for years now, it feels like that when we start slow, boy, it's hard to crack us out of that wallowing type of like a woe is me type behavior. Is it weird that like when we're on, we are on, when we're off, we are off? Does that shine a need for better coaching as far as a motivational, changing the narrative, halftime adjustment type of like, we need a guy that has more of like a vocal leader that goes in, and it doesn't have to be halftime, but at some point has to stop and be like, hey, snap out of it, get your butt together. We need to do a 180. What we're doing right now isn't working. And it's been hard to see the Packers not make adjustments like that and watch us slowly with the train wreck. Is that crazy to say that, or am I being hyperbolic?
For me, it's all about gathering information and making those slight adjustments. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Jacob, but I kind of feel like you're looking for Matt to maybe make a little more of an aggressive approach. All right, we really need to change something here, right? Am I right in I don't want to misquote you here.
I'm just more saying it seems as a generalization that when the Packers are stuck in a rut, they're stuck in a rut. And it doesn't seem like they ever get enough of either a motivational kick or on the field a strategical pivot from what they're doing isn't working for them to snap out of it. And when they do snap out of it, it seems like it's with 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And for whatever reason, they've increased game speed, game tempo, started throwing quicker out route. You know what I'm saying? Like all of a sudden, I remember that my dad always, whenever we're losing the whole game and we turn it on, why can't we play like this for 4 quarters? You know?
I agree with that, Jacob, because I remember a couple of times last year saying to myself, go to the 2-minute offense now. Like let's come out in the start of the third quarter and run 2-minute on them and just go tempo. And I get what you mean with some of the frustration, like, go ahead and make a change, shake it up a little bit. But, we got to remember too, man, it's at least from a coaching perspective, I'm sure maybe Coach Len could chime in if he's in the chat, but you're looking for your guys to focus on one play, right?
Exactly.
Go out and win every play. And when the play is over, whether you crap the bed or you did something awesome, you got to forget it and go to the next play and win again. And that's how you win ball games. We were talking about fourth down, going for it on fourth down. How do you get better at fourth down as an offense? Don't have fourth downs. Be better on third downs and convert. Don't put yourself in a fourth down situation. So it's all about one play at a time, I think. And, when we watch games, we tend to see it from that overarching, looking at it as a whole, as opposed to, drive to drive, play to play, quarter to quarter. So.
Yeah. And I don't know. I guess I just look at it different. And I'm not saying I'm right here. Knowing how the game plan is put together, I feel like Matt is making too much of an emotional adjustment. He's making decisions too much. And listen, you could probably hear us talking about this and think, man, they really think Matt LaFleur is a bad coach. That could not be further from the truth.
No.
We're simply, it's the off season. What can we improve on? What should they have improved on? What can get better next year, right? I think he's too emotional in that regard. Like when things aren't working, well, I gotta force this square peg in a round hole, rather than, you know what? Play the game that's in front of you. Play the game that's in front of you. And that's why I'm a big believer in, if there's enough time left, you punt that thing away. And then if your defense gives up a touchdown, you know what? It wasn't your day. But when you go out there and you get all aggressive and you give the ball, like I'm going to show you this first one right here. Let's just get into it. We'll get everybody's take afterwards here. So notice the bottom of this. It says lost by 2 points, right? You guys can see it's on the screen, right? Make sure it's up for you guys. Okay. Lost by 2 points. So at this point, we were trailing 28-0, right? In the second quarter, only 2:11 left, and it was a 4th and 10. So you decide, all right, you know what? We're losing by so damn much right here. We need to go for it on fourth down rather than try to kick the field goal, right? And that is not a give me field goal. Don't get me wrong. But if you had kicked this field goal, theoretically speaking, you would have won by 1 point.
That's within range. That's what, 52-yarder?
For McManus, it definitely is, right?
That's in range for him.
Yeah. So here is we're going with the passing plays first, and I've got the entire situation set up for everybody. This is the passing play that we called. So it's a 4th and 10, and I want you to notice the play call. Now, I'm not going to list the whole thing out, but notice where the football goes, and you could tell what Jordan and Matt's trying to do here. Is we just need to take a shot. They're getting desperate, right? So look at the play call. It's kind of a 3-vert look off the gate. You got to drag underneath, which you're not going to be throwing the football here. Let's be honest. It's you need 10 to the sticks. So you got 3 verts, right?
Oh my gosh, Tucker Kraft.
Yeah. Now look where you go with the football here. You're just going to chuck and duck and pray for a miracle here in a double coverage.
That ball should have went to Tuck Norris.
Rough, yeah.
And here's the thing. Yeah, it's a bad decision by Jordan, but at the same time, when you come out and it's not even halftime yet, let's just get some damn points on the board. Let's kick a field goal right here. It's easy to look back and go, man, we only lost by 2 points. That field goal would have been the difference. Yeah, technically it would have, right? But
good point by Soder. Narv Dog.
I was wondering if he was in. Yeah, if he was
the kicker. Okay. I stand corrected.
But, I don't give a damn if it's somebody from Podunk University. Your kicker, you can't go out there going, I don't think my kicker's going to hit it. Like, you're either going to attempt the kick or you're not. If you're going to approach it that way, don't even have a kicker on the roster. That's the way I see it. You know what I mean? Like, give the dude a shot there, in my opinion. So, again, first passing play, you chuck and duck to the end zone, you turn the ball over, and that makes it even harder to win that ball game. Right. Next play, you're now trailing 28-7, only 3 minutes and 12 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Right. In the third quarter, 4th and 8. This play failed as well. You remember, you only lost by 2 points. So once again, you're bypassing points to try to convert on the first down. Right. And let's see what they come out in there. They're in a dub set out of the gun. And what they're going to try to do is chug it in. You see what I'm saying? And once again, now, should it have been caught? Maybe. I don't know. But the point is there's 2 defenders there, right? So imagine if Narveson would have hit one of those 2 field goals rather than go for it on fourth down in those situations. You win the ball game, hindsight being 2020. Mm-hmm. So this is how I remember the season. So when I was watching it back, I'm expecting to be proven wrong. I'm like, I think I was right there. Like we got too aggressive, right? What did it say? What's Bates say there? I can't see the chat.
It says Narv was 0 for 2 on field goals this game. May have been a reason as to why.
So probably played a
I can't
role.
watch this one again. Oh no.
So and there's two different ways of looking at that, right? He was 0 for 2 already. Doesn't that mean you're one step closer to him hitting one, like in the law of averages? And that's what I'm saying. Like my mind fires a little different, and it's probably wrong because everybody seems to think like, you can't go out there and miss a third. I'm looking at it like he's going to hit one here soon, right? So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Jordan, baby.
That's how when I hit on late
scorers ever, right? He had one of the worst shooting percentages ever. Didn't matter. He still gotta try, right?
Yeah. So and again, if you miss that field goal, you're losing a little bit more yardage than just turning it over at that spot. But at the same time, if you hit it, there's the difference in the ball game. So, all right, next play that we're going to show here is another passing play, and again, these were all while we were trailing. Okay, we were trailing 24-6, fourth quarter, 12:30 left. This is against the Lions at Lambeau in the piss pouring rain, if I remember correctly, right? Fourth and 5. This was actually a successful play. All right, we end up losing the game by 10 points. This one, you're going for it on your side of the field. You kind of got to go for it here, right? You're down by a couple scores, 3 scores, whatever it is. What would that difference be there, Jacob? Help me with the math. I'm from Kentucky.
18 points.
18. So 3-score game, right? So you've got to go for it here. 4th and 5 play. We come out in once again a gun dubs set. So you've got a 2-by-2 with a sidecar left. Tucker is standing up on the line on the left there. Let's see what play we went with here out of the gun on this particular play. You know that guy that everybody's been roasting here lately, Jaden Reed? Look, game on the line, right? You need a play. I don't know. Just go down the field and make a contested catch on 4th down, right? I know, but he can't catch the football.
Is that back shoulder too?
Yeah, back shoulder throw. Nope, for sure. Let's watch it one more time just to appreciate it here.
Yeah, sure.
And yeah, when I was watching it the first time, I was like, I'll be damned, look at this. Game on the line, 4th and 5, right? Losing. Let's just chuck it up, give our boy a shot here. Great play by Jaden Reed there.
Nice.
Great ball placement by Jay Love.
Yeah. All right. Trailing 7-3. This is at the Vikings. All right. Second quarter, 7:33 left. 4th and 2 play, and you're on their 25-yard line. Actually, their 23-yard line, right? Their 23-yard line. Guess how many points we lost this game by, fellas? 2 points.
Yeah.
You take that field goal, and I don't know, maybe Narvison was still the kicker. I have no idea. But nonetheless, you bypass on the field goal, you end up losing by 2 points. This one failed. Once again, 2 yards. And people will go, it's Matt LaFleur. Why is he passing on 4th down like that, right? It was a run play. Watch Jordan. Jordan checks to a pass. That's what it looks like. Okay, now it could have been 2 pass plays called, and he just checked to the second. My guess is it was a run and a pass combo. He checks out, goes to the passing play here. And this is the play we highlighted that everybody said Jaden Reed drops his football, but Jordan gets to him late, and he has to dive for the football, right? So that was on 4th down. Bypass a field goal. And here's the other thing, too, we got to mention. Matt LaFleur could have told him, go out there and try to get him to jump. And if you see something you like, then check to this play. That could have been the play as well. So keep that in mind. But nonetheless, the point there is another game you lost by 2 points or less, and you chose to bypass a field goal attempt to go for it. So United Bates said we had McManus that game. He was 1 for 1. So that hurts a little bit more. Right now we're getting in the same ballpark. Like, yeah, okay, we probably should have kicked that. So, all right, next game is the Philadelphia Eagles. This is the playoff game. You're trailing 19-10, 4th quarter, 5:03 left. I have no problem going for this one. No problem, right? I mean, you're down by 2 scores. There's only 5 minutes left in the game. You got to go for it. But again, we're showing all of them that we were trailing on. You end up losing by 12 points, and this was a failed attempt. If I remember correctly, this goes to Malik Heath on the outside down here at the bottom. I want to say it's him right there, or maybe it's the 2. It could be the 2. Somebody runs an out route. I think it's Malik Heath, and he doesn't get his feet in bounds. But what do you see again, fellas? Jordan in the play.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you guys see it failed, but I'll tell you this. He checked to the right play because look at what he saw. Look at what he got. Walk him out. Beautiful ball. Great placement.
Oh.
Malik Heath just doesn't get his feet in. Right? Now, again, could we win the ball game if he converts that? Probably not.
Yes.
But the point is, you got to get your feet in bounds. You got to, right? And again, we've been propping Malik Heath up all off season because you look at some of the advanced metrics and it suggests like, hey, this dude's ascending, right? He just needs more opportunities. In this case, didn't work out. So
it's random comment here. Flight risk snug Caldwell says we're 13-4 Super Bowl. Go Pack go. I ain't seen the flight risk in here before, so nice to see you there. Flight risk snug.
Love it. Love it.
Pretty killer name.
Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for hour one. We're going to continue this conversation on the other side for hour two. Everybody on the pod, we really appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll see you over there.